Hello everyone, in this video my group will present our analysis on assessment based on its principles. This topic is very important because principles in language assessment help ensure that tests are not only fair but also effective for both teachers and students. Now let's begin with the title of our presentation. As shown on this slide, our topic is assessment analysis based on its principles. This presentation is prepared by our group and we will go through each principle one by one to see how the assessment fulfills them. First, what is language assessment? Language assessment is the process of measuring a learner's language ability. It helps teachers know how well students understand and use the language. The principles of assessment are important because they ensure that the process is fair, accurate, and effective. There are five main principles of language assessment, which are practicality, reliability, validity, authenticity, and watchback. Each of these principles gives us a standard to evaluate whether an assessment is well designed or not. So before we jump to each principle, here is the original classroom assessment that our group analyzes. Okay, let's start with the first one, which is practicality. Practicality means that an assessment should be easy to administer, score, and complete with the available time and resources. This assessment shows practicality because it has clear rubrics, can be completed in 1 week, and uses the Pecha Kucha format, which keeps the presentation short and efficient. However, some challenges may appear. For example, if students lack access to devices or the internet, or when they need to take real photos that require extra effort.
Now I will discuss reliability in language assessment. Reliability means the consistency of results. If the same students repeat the task or another teacher scores it, the outcome should be similar. The strength of this task is that the rubric has clear categories like content, pronunciation, and presentation, which guide the teacher and reduce unfair judgment. The use of performance levels such as good or excellent also shows an effort to make scoring systematic. However, some descriptors are too general. For instance, terms like clear explanation or good pronunciation can be interpreted differently by teacher, which may lead to inconsistent scoring. Without more detailed criteria or examples, students might also be unsure about expectations. Overall, the rubric supports reliability, but it would be stronger if the criteria were more specific and supported with example to minimize subjectivity. Now let's move to validity. Validity means how well the assessment measures what it is supposed to measure. A valid test should truly test students' language ability rather than other unrelated skills. The strength of this task is that it measures essential aspects such as listening comprehension, vocabulary, and oral presentation skills. By asking students to process listening material, reflect, and present ideas, the task promotes higher order thinking and makes the assessment meaningful as well as aligned with the learning objectives. On the other hand, there are also challenges. The emphasis of visual design and slide timing may shift attention away from language use. Students with strong digital or design skill but weaker speaking ability might still achieve higher scores. In addition, cultural or technical background could unintentionally influence performance, even though these are not the main focus of language learning. Overall, the task demonstrates good validity because it directly targets core language skill, but it would be stronger if the influence of non-language factors was minimized.
Okay, the next is authenticity. Authenticity means the test should reflect a real-life language use, and authentic tests use tasks that are similar to real life. This assessment fully meets the principle of authenticity because the tasks truly resemble real-life language use. Students are asked to use personal photo of great action they have taken, such as planting trees and etc., and then the students tell their own stories. However, not all students have real-life experiences or personal photo related to green action, so they may feel forced to make things up to fulfill the assignment. And then the last is washback. Washback refers to the effect a test has on teaching and learning. This assessment also has a large positive washback effect. This assignment encourages students to reflect on their daily habits and how they can contribute to the environment. They practice conveying authentic message through photo and narrative while also building their confidence in public speaking. Furthermore, the topic of great action also fosters the environmental awareness. The challenges that often occur are causing performance anxiety because students feel they have to appear perfect, and then the limited time 20 times 20 make it possible to reflect deeply on environmental issues.
And then, to conclude, this assessment meets the five main principles of language assessment, which are practicality, reliability, validity, authenticity, and washback. It is practical, reliable, valid, and authentic, while also giving mostly positive washback, even though some challenges remained. Overall, it is a meaningful assessment that helps students connect classroom learning with real life skills. And we hope this presentation has given you a clearer understanding of how these principles work in practice. Thank you for watching, and we really appreciate your attention. See you in the next session.